Hi, I'm Deepika Grover with Grover Mortgage Group.
And I'm Natalie Van Cardo with the Nat Nate Real Estate Team.
Welcome to our new podcast,
Real Estate of Mind,
where we discuss real estate, life, and everything in between.
We're excited for you to follow us and join in on our journey.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Real Estate of Mind.
Welcome back.
Today, we have a very special guest, one of my very close friends, Kaitlyn Severin.
Hello.
And CEO and Marketing Manager of Socialize.
Yes. Hi.
Thank you for being on the pod.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, we're so excited to have you.
I'm very excited to be here.
Well, marketing is very important in today's day and age, as everyone knows. So we can't wait to dive deep into all things marketing, and hopefully we can figure out how to brand ourselves better. And by we, I mean me.
You guys are doing all right.
You brand yourself very well. Let's start off. Tell us a little bit about yourself, why you got into marketing, and what made you start your own company.
Ooh, that's a full-fledged answer. I'm kind of nervous. Okay, so I actually started out, I think a lot of people in marketing will say, oh, I started as a journalist. And that's exactly what happened to me. So I started out wanting to be a journalist my entire life. I was so excited to do it. I ended up working for my university newspaper, for Laurier University. Shout out to the Cord. So I was their news editor there for a couple of years, and I loved it. And I got to travel around and talk to amazing people. But then you get to the end of university and you're like, okay, what am I going to do now? Mm-hmm. And so I was told, you have to get your master's, you have to do more school. But at that point, I'm just over it. So I was a communication studies major, and a lot of my professors were talking about, marketing opportunities and getting into that industry. So I thought I'd give it a shot. I actually didn't think I would be very good at it. And I kind of jumped in head first into another agency and was just getting my feet wet for a couple of years. I ended up working for a beauty brand for a number of years up until the pandemic.
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, what wasn't cool was they kind of let all of us go.
Because of the pandemic?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But you know what? I did learn a lot from it, from those years of experience working full time. So I kind of decided, I noticed a lot of, people in my network were starting to do more contract work. So I was still really very much into journalism and writing, and a little bit into social media, not much, but I was just starting to get interested in it. So I decided, okay, for a year, instead of looking for jobs, I'm going to do contract work and find businesses who maybe need just some help on the side, just to take a couple of gigs here and there and see what happens, see if I make any money, which I ended up making more than I thought I would.
Oh, awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was my parents were shocked. I was shocked. They're like, wow.
Parents that are worried, like, you just lost your job. What are you going to do?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
yeah, it's amazing that, it's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I know it was. I think during the pandemic, because so many people were unfortunately losing their jobs, their full-time jobs, a lot of them did move to contract work, and then these businesses needed to kind of figure out ways to budget themselves. But marketing, like you said, is so important, and every business does need it, so they're trying to figure ways. So more businesses were starting to hire contractors or get them on their team or just have them, part-time. So I did that, and I did that about 4 years ago, and I just never looked back. And then about 2 years ago, I wanted to, expand my team. I was getting more clients, which was amazing. I ended up getting a graphic designer. So she's they're all contractors, but they've all worked with me for at least a couple of years. So I have a team of about 4 or 5 contractors.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Kaitlyn.
Yeah. Oh, stop it.
You're a little business owner.
Well,
Love that.
boss babe. Yeah. But yeah, it's been amazing. I love working with the people I work with. I love, all the clients we've worked with. They're all just amazing people. And I have not looked back.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
It's honestly, it's like inspirational. So I love that.
Oh, thank you.
So with marketing, we know the trends change all the time. What would you say are some important avenues that every business kind of needs to implement?
Ooh, okay. I feel like everyone has said this a million times, but do video marketing. You need,
Yeah.
like, you guys are really good at it because you're filming yourselves just doing the podcast, but it's like you're already doing it and you might as well set up a video, like, you know, a camera
Yeah.
and get it on social media and have that content ready to go. I tell my clients all the time, like, especially if they're in the mortgage and real estate space, you need to be on video. It's so, so important. It's almost like...
But we just like it. But we like, okay, when we first started doing it, I hated it. And I was like, oh my God, like, what are we going to look like? What do we say? But now I feel like we've just gotten so used to it that like, we don't even prepare half the time.
That's, you know what? I notice that with everybody. Everyone, like even myself, like I'm never on video either. Like I'm kind of a hypocrite because I always tell people you need to be on video. Why aren't you on video? And then I never go on video.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like all my clients, they start off with, well, I don't like my voice. I don't like the way I look today.
Yeah.
Oh my God, why'd I wear this?
Yeah.
And then by like the 5th time, they're like, whatever.
We don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It does get easier, especially being in our spaces because it's so convoluted. I find this avenue of doing it is easier for me because it's a little bit different. Where like I'm finding it's like copy paste for everybody. Like, so my business feed is just all real estate and mortgage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, everybody is the same. And I get tired of it, but I know I'm also being inundated with it. So, knowing I'm in an industry like that, what would you suggest that may be a little bit different than the average of what people are seeing?
That's a really good question. And I was kind of thinking about that too, because I'm in kind of the same boat as you. Like even being in the social media marketing space, I kind of feel like sometimes I see the same videos over and over. It's just different people.
Yeah.
So I would suggest kind of finding, I guess, a unique tone or your voice or doing something a little...
Or like a niche, right?
Yeah, like try to find something different. And I know it's easy to say that, but, you know, think about what your audience is looking for and actually what gets them to like stop the scroll.
Yeah.
Like you could be really funny on social media. I've seen people be really controversial, just saying something so weird right away to get your attention.
Yeah.
And that's really, even if you're not even talking about it, it's a good way just to get people to listen to you rather than being like, oh, this is another real estate video.
Yeah.
So I would suggest trying to find unique ways to, you know, incorporate yourself into the feed. And again, think about what your audience is looking for. If you have a video and it was a little bit funny, but it got more engagement than, let's say, another video about the Bank of Canada announcement. Like, think about, okay, how can I utilize this a little bit more? Should I add jokes into every video? Should I, like, dress up a certain way? Like, I don't know. Just think of unique ways to get their attention.
No, that's true because the first obstacle is doing the video and like creating the content, but then the other obstacle is like, how do you differentiate yourself now?
Exactly.
And like, that's so difficult because you're so right. Like my feed is also all realtors, all, you know, business professionals, and everyone's like, oh, closed on this house. Oh, Bank of Canada rate announcement this. Oh, interest rates are up. Oh, this is, you know, the TREB sales for this month or whatever. And it's like, okay, like I don't want the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So you're so right. You have to find a niche, which is why we have marketing managers like you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I would also suggest, like, and I have to tell myself this too all the time, like, don't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
It's a good mantra, I think, for a lot of marketing. Like, we all want to look very professional, and we all know our shit anyways, but, you know, have fun with it too, because people want to see you having fun on the feed.
Yeah,
That's true. And it makes you more personable too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's important to also, as a professional as I try to be on our podcast as well, or just in general, sometimes I'm like, well, I think people just want to know that I'm a person at the end of the day as well.
100%.
Like, I'm not just a mortgage broker. Like, I also have a life outside of it.
Exactly.
Right? It makes them able to connect with you.
Exactly.
which is
Just because,
nice.
like, you're funny or you're more personal doesn't mean you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's huge. That's honestly, that's huge because a lot of people think, oh, if I am funny, then no one's going to take me seriously.
No.
So yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
No, I've seen like really good videos of like, mortgage agents and brokers and realtors just being hilarious in their videos, and they'll go viral, and people will want to look at, you know, their listings or talk to them because they know like they can have like a casual conversation as well as talking about, you know, what they need to do to get that house or get pre-approved.
That's true because it is also such a daunting industry, like especially mortgages, because like, you know, you're looking at all your personal financial information and people get worried about that. So I think being funny or having like a lightheartedness to it would probably help.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting. Already learning. Okay, so how important is personal branding in today's society? What are some practical steps that businesses can take to strengthen their brand.
Ooh.
Like all businesses.
Oh, wow. That is a good question. Okay, so for personal.
No pressure.
Yeah, that is crazy. Well, personal branding, yeah, again, I would say going back to having that unique voice and that tone and trying to put more personality into your videos while still being professional about it. Let's say, you're an entrepreneur, you're, a boss babe, you have this office full of people, but you want to work on your personal branding. Just kind of have fun with it, but tell people what you're also talking about, right?
So I have a question. What is the difference between like a personal branding and then your business branding?
Yeah, so business branding is, I guess you could say, the image of the entire brand itself. So, it's what people perceive of your brand, of your company, and the services and the products that you offer, as well as the people who are on your team. So it's kind of like the entire picture. And then your personal brand is you personally.
Yep.
So it's like who you are as an entrepreneur, as a boss, as CEO, as someone who is, in a way, still promoting the overall business brand, but it's you as a person.
So getting to know you a little bit more intimately than in the brand. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And both personal and professional branding can help the business, right? Because especially if you see on LinkedIn, a lot of these posts that are going viral talking about, the top 3 ways you can start a business. A lot of them that's not coming from businesses. That's coming from people.
From people.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like
true.
a great way to kind of, if you're looking to start a personal brand, I would say LinkedIn is a really great way of doing that, especially if you want to take that professional approach. Again, you could still be personable, but a lot of people, when they see posts like that, they don't want to see like a big name brand posting that. They want to see an actual person that maybe they can reach out to later. They can learn more about, especially if they go on their LinkedIn, they see, oh my God, they're the CEO of this company and they started from this, and they kind of learn more about your story.
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
That's true. It can be inspiring. For sure.
What platforms do you suggest that people should be utilizing for social media and that sort of thing?
Definitely, definitely LinkedIn. Actually, you know what? Let me take it back. It depends on the industry that you're in.
Yeah.
I know in the real estate and mortgage world, it can kind of get a little tricky. I know like some realtors who don't want to be on LinkedIn. They're like, I don't see the point of it.
That's me. And I'm like, it's not my scene, but yes.
Yeah. But I think if you have an idea of the type of content that you want to post on a network like LinkedIn, I say go for it. I mean, these social media platforms for the most part are all free. So I always suggest just try it out. What's the worst that can really happen unless you're posting really bad stuff. But I would say like give it a try, especially if you, again, want to build your personal brand. LinkedIn is a really great way of doing that. But I would say, real estate mortgage world, Instagram, I think, is king.
Okay.
It's, kind of king of like all the networks for that in the industry. At least that's what I've seen. It's what a lot of my clients want to grow on the most. So I would say, sticking to that and making sure that your content's always being updated. It's looking good. And then Facebook, which a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to be on Facebook. Who's on Facebook? A lot of people are still on Facebook.
Yeah.
We're just talking about Facebook groups and how important they are to like communities and
that's true.
networking. I've found work on Facebook too. I found contractors on Facebook. I've actually seen paid ads do really well on Facebook as well over Instagram.
Okay.
So, and they're good for SEO reasons. You might not see the most engagement on Facebook compared to Instagram, but I would still suggest making a Facebook business profile or page and everything like that.
Okay, so you just touched on paid advertising. Can you talk about it, explain what it is, and if it's worth it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, is it worth it? That's a really good question.
I want to do it, but then I'm like, is it worth it?
Yeah, exactly. Ooh.
I do it.
You do it?
do it?
think it's
I
worth
do it.
Yeah. How's it worked for you?
Okay, so like say we're just doing Facebook and Instagram, it does take, your conversion rate is low. You need a lot of people coming in per month and a lot of touches with those people. And then it varies. I could convert somebody within the same month that I chat with them, or it takes years. So it's really hard for me to quantify how valuable it is.
Would you say it's worth the money that you're spending on it though? Because like, how long have you been doing it for?
A decade.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Well, you're still doing it, so it must be working.
I've lessened it this year. I wanted like this year not to spend as much doing it because I get inundated with leads, and then I'm like, what do I do? And I kind of they kind of fall at the wayside. So I did do it less this year and was concentrating on the leads that I've had, which has helped, but I still think this year's not a great indication of it because
Just
we're
because
in
the
a
way the
transit-
market's been. Yeah.
So, yes, I would say it is worth it, but you have to expect to have a long haul with it. Like, don't expect immediate results.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And can I ask you what type of like the content that you're actually putting in these paid ads, or do you vary the type of messaging you're putting with these paid ads?
Yeah. So it could be a specific listing that we have that we do paid advertisement for.
Okay.
This past year, I've concentrated just on that. I could do hot sheets, like here's this list of houses in this area. I could do like, what's your value of your home? So yeah, those are I would say the three main ones that we do.
Okay. Yeah, I would say, again, it depends on the type of messaging you're using and the platform as well as the budget you have. I would say it's worth it.
Yeah.
Again, I've seen really great results, even just from one-off paid ads and campaigns using like $50, which is pretty good. It's kind of a good, so if you're ever looking to kind of get into it, I would say $50 is I would spend minimal.
Per
Sorry,
day?
take it back from the top just for people who
Sorry,
don't know
maybe
what
I'm going.
advertising
I'm
is.
way ahead.
No, yeah. So I mean, people probably know what paid advertising is, but explain how it works, like all that kind of stuff.
Ooh, okay. So I would say, going, let's say Facebook and Instagram, a paid ad is a type of post that you'll, I guess, invest some money into. So let's say $50, and you can also.
And is that per day?
No, I've seen it. You could do it per day, but I've done like maybe a week or two with $50.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you spending more than that?
Way more.
Okay.
Well, I will
Way
say
more.
the more you spend, the more target
outreach
you
is
can kinda
more, right?
reach.
Yeah.
You can reach more locations. So let's say for $50, I can reach probably most of Oakville or a certain type of location. So if let's say I have a listing and I really want people in this area or this neighborhood to know about the listing, I can geotag that.
Yeah.
So people who have Facebook or Instagram accounts in that area will more likely see it than someone else. So you invest some money into
Your face right now, you're like, tell me more.
yeah. I'm like, are you confused? Or?
I'm
She's processing.
Yeah, okay, good. No, it's really great. You don't have to do it for listings either. I've seen a lot of events do it as well. Yeah, I've seen a lot of even just promoting a service you can do it for, like a certain service you want to just promote that maybe you don't get a lot of attention out of.
Okay.
And it's really easy to do on Facebook and Instagram as well. There's options just to boost it. So again, you invest a little bit of money.
Do you believe in boosting over a paid ad?
Isn't it the same thing? What's the
No.
difference between
No.
boosting
Big
and a paid
difference.
ad?
I want to hear her answer.
Oh my God.
Okay, so tell us first what
Not
the
that
difference
I have an
is.
opinion. I've been told, I rarely look at my data. So I've boosted and I do paid ads. I mainly do paid ads now, but I know a lot of people say do not boost. It's not worth it.
Really?
So I just want to know what your take is.
Okay, tell us what the difference is first.
Well, first, I've never heard. What? That's so interesting. I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, don't boost," because I've definitely boosted.
Yeah,
I've definitely boosted mostly just on Instagram, I guess. Facebook, I don't even know if boosting is considered the word for it. But boosting is basically you already have a post up on Instagram, like you already created, it's already up. There's a little button underneath that says to boost.
Because I've done that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought that's what paid advertising is.
It is and it isn't.
Okay.
I would say it's it doesn't stray too far away, but paid advertising is, let's say you're going on Facebook and Instagram. Again, you're investing the money, but you're kind of putting more attention into who you're geotagging and the locations and the audience. So you're actually, you can choose what age you want the audience who's looking.
And you can't do that with boosting.
No, there's not a lot of options for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So more boost to your followers already. It might boost to people who aren't following your account. But I would say paid advertising, if you're going to invest, it's probably better to go that route.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though it's a little bit more work. But you might find better results with that.
This stuff goes so right over my head. I know you're really into it because you do your own.
Yeah.
But I would need somebody like you to do mine because it's so over. I'm like, what is the
even
difference?
honestly, I'm telling you right now, even I get confused with it.
Because they change it all the time.
They do.
It's so annoying. Just keep it the same.
Yeah.
But the other thing is what you want out of it. Do you want actual people clicking and you're getting them their information, or do you want views? It really depends on what the purpose of the ad
exactly.
is.
The call to action, you
Yeah.
can change. You can get people to call you straight from Facebook. Literally click a button, they call you, or they can message your account or your page.
I just love your face.
I just am so intrigued.
I know. That's why I like it so much.
But again, it's like, and again, try it. I would say it's more like before you kind of dive into the paid advertising space, like really think about what the content is you're putting out. Because if you're just putting out like the most general post, like use me as like a mortgage broker, everyone's like, okay, like
they're like,
cool.
no.
I think you need to kind of like to do it. You need to give yourself some time to figure out what actually works. Because I've done different ads, and I'm like, that doesn't work, and I kibosh it right away.
Yeah.
So you kind of learn along the way, like what is actually attracting people and that sort of thing.
Exactly.
It takes time.
Yeah, it's a lot of testing. And it's just a lot of looking at the results and the numbers and thinking like, okay, why didn't people click on this post? But why are they clicking on this one? So
And also like the cost per lead. I'm like, oh my God, why is it so much? Or like that one's doing really well. So
I think our industry cost per lead is like higher than like the average industry because we're in like financial, right?
Yeah. Guaranteed.
So what industries would you say benefit the most from paid advertising? Or is that some data you have, or would they all what industries would like benefit the most from paid advertising?
I would say real estate. Again, if you have good messaging with it, it can lead to really good results. I mean, if people will at least click on the ad or the paid ad. Even if they're not looking for a house, they're just interested.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then I've heard a lot of stories of people, even if they're not looking, they know someone else who's looking. They get a paid ad and they send that listing over to someone, and it can lead to a sale, right? So I would say real estate is really good for that, for paid ads and everything like that. And mortgage too. Like, you just gotta.
It's hard to create engaging content when you're a mortgage broker, though, because like everyone wants to click on a pretty house, but who wants to click on a picture of a table of rates? Like, I don't know.
It's very
it's not the same. I did like years ago, I think during COVID, I teamed up with a mortgage broker and we did like whatever the ad was, and it was so expensive to do. Nobody clicked it. I kiboshed it within like the first couple weeks. I'm like, nobody wants this.
Yeah.
This is not a thing.
Yeah.
I find it would be a little bit more difficult to attract people. I think you would be better maybe doing an ad with a video of you talking. Than just here's the rates.
Yeah. I would always suggest, like, if you're doing a paid ad, you have to add some motion into it, whether it is a video, even a GIF, or like just something, right? Just something to catch your attention rather than like just a photo.
Fair enough.
And like if you think of your social media right now, because it's Christmas, I'm being inundated with different products, and I'm actually clicking like, oh, that looks cool, and then I end up on their website and like looking at pricing and all of that stuff. So it's constantly there.
Exactly. Yeah. Take a look like during your feed. Like
marketing is so crazy to me.
Yeah. But like if you ever think about doing paid, like literally look at your Instagram, Facebook feed, or even just do a quick Google search and like, asking like, what are the best ads? Like which ones have resulted in the most clicks or something like that, and see what other people have done. It doesn't even have to be paid ads. It can be any type of marketing that kind of catches your attention. Like, could this be a good paid ad? Like, why did this catch my attention?
That's true.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, you can. That's kind of the beauty about marketing is you could take like something from traditional marketing and put it into social media, or you could take some social media and put it into traditional. So,
do you think traditional marketing is worth doing nowadays?
Is it dead?
I would say she dead. She is dead. No, I would say it's dead. You know what? I actually think I think over the next couple of years, people are going to almost pay more attention to it because it's not on your feed. Like, it's in front of your face.
Can I tell you a really funny story? Yeah. So last weekend, me and my friends were downtown Toronto, Sydney and Taylor, actually.
Oh, yeah.
We were getting brunch, and we were in Ossington, and we're like, oh, we just finished brunch, and we wanted to go somewhere else just to hang, and we were walking. We were like, oh, like, where should we go? Like, we've never heard of these restaurants. And there was just, like, a sign outside this one restaurant, which was, like, happy hour, 3 to 5 p.m. Come in. Like, food is, like, half off. Drinks are half off. And we walked in, and we're like, we told the waitress, we're like, print advertising still works. This caught our attention. Yeah.
Because you can be on Google search like, oh, who has happy hour? And you'll get like a million results. But if you have one sign that's like, no, you're
already walking there. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say like, that's perfect. And it was probably so easy for them to do. All they had to write was happy hour.
Yeah.
Come in, ladies. Like, you know what I mean?
So we're welcome.
Yeah. But I was just talking to someone about like direct mailing and everything like that. Yes. And I think that could be a good idea, but I think you got to be strategic. Because it's kind of an expensive route to go in terms of traditional marketing. But if you know who you're kind of talking to with this traditional, like let's say like a mailer, like if you know exactly the type of neighborhood like maybe you're promoting a new listing that just sold and you're like, people in this neighborhood like are going to be interested in it and I'm willing to invest like some money into it. Feel free to give it a try because people are nosy. They want to know what's going on in their neighborhood. So I would say something like that might be a good investment for you. But even just like I've seen like mailers, like a lot of people just throw them out, but sometimes they'll catch my attention. Like I know, like I love it when people do like, free pumpkin pies on Thanksgiving, like something like that. Even if I'm not getting it, I'm like, that's so nice. Oh my God. And then I remember it. Like, so I think I wouldn't say it's dead, but I would say like, again, think of the messaging, think of the content, how you're getting people's attention. But don't just spend your budget on social media. Definitely think about what can we do for traditional, especially if you want to, if you're, let's say, a community member, you want to get other community members involved. Yeah. Kind of think about how to, use that. Because they'll look. So
yeah, no, fair enough. As long as it's not like generic, because like we get so many flyers in the mail still, and I gotta like put that sticker on the mailbox or whatever, being like, don't send me like flyers like from like A&W or Subway or like whatever.
It's getting a lot now.
It is. My brother tracked the mail yesterday, and 90% of it was flyers. And I was like, why? Like it's so annoying, and then we have to put it all in the garbage, and it just takes up space. But yeah, like as long as you're strategic and I think it actually adds value to the consumer, I think it will be looked at.
Exactly.
What do you think about people who leave like advertising like in the door handle or like instead of the mailbox? Like, do you think that's effective?
You know what? I've never thought about that before, actually. That's a really great question.
I find it, like for me, I know I will look at it longer than I will from a flyer just in my mailbox.
Okay.
Yeah,
like
right.
I'll take time
you have to
actually what is this? Yes, because it's a different action I'm physically doing. So I'll actually take a little bit more time.
Oh,
and it's like, like free, like whatever they're paving or whatever it is. I'm like, okay. And then I'm think about it. And then there's more thought process.
That's even if you're like not interested, you still have to look at it. It's not just like taking a whole thing out of the mailbox and throwing it in the garbage. That's a good question. That's something I've never actually thought about. Wow, I learned something new today, guys.
We're just marketing geniuses over here.
No, you guys are good. Well, you guys have been in this industry for a while, so you do know, right? You pick it up. Like in every industry, you kind of pick up why would people be interested in me or my services, right? So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you do learn a lot.
I'm still learning. This is so interesting to me.
Hey, me too. So don't worry.
So is branding and marketing only important for businesses, or should individuals be thinking about doing that as well?
Yeah, kind of going back to like personal versus I guess professional branding. Like I say every business needs to have a branding of some sort, especially if you're just like, even a business of a week old, think about, okay, well, how are people going to recognize this business? How are people going to become familiar with it, whether it be brand colors and fonts, again, tone of voice, who the face of it is, the logos, everything like that. Like every business does need to invest something into that. Whether they're doing it themselves or they're outsourcing it. It is very, very important. And then I guess individual, if you want to be, I guess, kind of like, you don't have to be the face of the professional brand, but if you want to kind of get to that, then yes, definitely, it's definitely important to kind of, again, invest some branding into that. And, it doesn't need to be brand colors or anything like that, but it's more of looking in, like, at yourself and being like, hey, what do people like about me? Like, what can I do to put myself out there, whether it be being on videos, doing these certain types of, doing this certain type of content, what lessons can I teach to other people? Yeah. I always kind of think, the CEO versus the branding type of image, like, how do I know the CEO versus what do I know about their branding? So it's a very good question, but it's
interesting because now with like the age of like TikTok and influencers,
I was just gonna say, I was gonna go that avenue.
Every single person has their own personal brand. So like even these people who don't even have a business, like forget about businesses for a second. Yeah, just like people who just have like niches and they're like, get ready with me while I go on a walk, or get ready with me while I do Pilates, or like whatever the case may be, or like I'm gonna make this recipe, or I'm a single dad of 4, or like everybody I feel like has their own personal branding nowadays. And like talk about that a little bit more. Like, do you think
mean just like overall influencer marketing? Ooh, okay. I've worked, it's funny, in the beginning of my contracting, I guess, work, I did work with a lot of influencers.
Oh, cool. Talk about that.
Well, there's not much to talk about. It is very, I will say I kind of prefer working with businesses over influencers.
Oh, okay.
I will say I did meet a lot of really, really nice influencers in and around Toronto, but it is definitely a different type of marketing that maybe I wasn't, it was good to get that experience, but maybe I'm not 100% suited for.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like because I, learned a lot of my skills through businesses, I'm more familiar with it. But influencer marketing is like, it's I don't know. You have to have that experience, and you have to have a certain type of mindset. But they're really, really smart. By the way,
They're so smart.
They're really
it's not
smart.
easy to brand yourself.
It is not.
It's not easy to find that niche, right?
No,
I think
definitely
that's
not.
so hard.
No,
And I feel like even with that, you have to be on all the time. Like we are on all the time,
Exactly.
but I feel like with an influencer, like you can never.
You can't take a break.
No.
And also,
No.
like, everything needs to be like filmed, or everything could be content, or you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Or like
I
you
like
always have to
that.
look good because you might have to film whatever you're doing at
Exactly.
any certain point, right?
Exactly. They can have schedules, like, okay, and like especially with partnerships, if they have that, they're like, there's no breaks, right? They're promoting, products or promoting other businesses. So like I said, they're so smart because they're making money that way, and like all they have to do is get this, free product and promote it online, which sounds easy, but it is not. 100%.
It's not, yeah.
But yeah, it is like, you almost have to put your whole self online, right? And it's kind of, the more popular you get, the more people are going to be looking into you, like, right? Like how many influencers are now like almost A-list celebrities?
I honestly
True.
think it's shifting. Like the focus is now shifting from Hollywood to influencers and TikTok. Like I think the general consumer trusts influencers more than they trust celebrities at this point,
100%,
right?
100%.
Which is crazy.
It is, yeah. And it's almost like you can't even rise to fame, I guess, even as an actress or a singer, like, like Addison Rae, like, remember her? Like, she's like a huge singer now.
Yeah.
And like, she's going on tour with like Charli XCX and Troye Sivan and stuff like that. Like, it's just like, but it's so crazy to me to think like, oh, during the pandemic, I would see this girl just dancing
on TikTok.
Yeah, in her family's house, like, she was like 17. It's like, whatever. And now look at what she's doing, right?
But you know what's interesting? A lot of people were like, oh, when TikTok is done, like, what are these people going to do? Like, where are they going to go dance now? But it's like, no, they've been able to pivot their whole career and create it into a personal brand.
Exactly.
Which is so interesting to me.
Exactly. And people and huge businesses are investing like their products, their money into these influencers, right?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like they're becoming the spokespersons of these brands.
Yeah.
Right. So, but it doesn't surprise me. Like I remember growing up with like Kylie and Kendall Jenner.
Yeah.
Remember Kylie, like how much she still promotes like a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
But like she made a lot of money.
She made a
off
lot of
it.
money.
Yeah. Like,
Kim Kardashian used to make $1 million per brand deal, like for one
crazy.
post
Yeah.
from a brand.
That's bonkers,
Yeah.
But like you are also have like 350 million followers, right?
Exactly.
So it's like
Yeah.
it's worth it. But yeah, like no, personal branding intrigues me so much.
yeah. Like
It's-
like look at even the local
Scares
people.
me. I'm gonna come from a different lens. It like I get it. It works. For me, I'm scared in the sense that like we're just becoming a very vain society.
Okay. Interesting. No, tell me more about
Just
it.
because like I feel like we're always on our phone. Everybody's trying to sell you something. There's no break of like being sold things where like back in the day it was like here's your flyer, here's your
That's it.
whatever, and go buy things. Where now it's like everywhere you go, like my kids know when they're being sold to, like it's always there, which to me it's too much.
Yeah, that's interesting. But it's also like I always think about like AI.
Yes.
Like ChatGPT, right? And everyone uses it. I use it. It's like, but the one thing I'm like, but now I'm starting to be like, I'll see a post and I'm like, this was written by ChatGPT.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah,
Wait, what? You can tell?
I read a LinkedIn post this morning and the first line, I'm like, ChatGPT. Like 100. There's just little things that you'll notice.
God. Yeah.
Certain words, the double emojis. Like I always see it.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, like which you can use double. I don't care. Use as many emojis as you want.
Yeah.
But it's just like I don't know. There's just certain things out. So I'm like, I always think like, do other people notice? And then I think about
I definitely don't notice.
Yeah. Well, take a look.
I am so easily like marketed to.
You're the ideal.
They do
I'm the
say
ideal consumer.
They
Okay.
say that people in sales are the easiest to sell to.
Really?
Why?
Yes, I think because we know the struggle of having to sell to somebody. So I think we're just more susceptible to it, which is funny.
Anything
Yeah.
needs to be like aesthetic looking, pretty. I'll buy
Yeah.
it. Like
There
I'll
you go.
literally buy it. Anything
Yeah.
that has to do with like health and wellness,
Yeah.
skincare. I'll buy it. Like
Yeah.
so bad.
No, I'm kind of the same way. Like even like good marketing, I'll remember that. And I'll remember that business. And then if I see that business somewhere else, I'm like, oh my God, they did that cool billboard the other day, right?
Yeah.
So if I wasn't in marketing, I'd be like, oh, I'd be sold to like crazy. Like
Yeah.
yeah. But I think like I always wonder like, will this next generation of kids like grow up like I know they're using ChatGPT and I know they're using their phones and they're getting sold to like crazy, but are they better at knowing when like it might be a scam or maybe something's not actually worth it? Like,
I just got scammed. With the scam, I got scammed.
no,
You got
By who?
scammed, Natalie? Wait,
Uh-oh.
what? With what?
It was for a pillow. I'm not going to name names. My husband wanted a pillow
okay.
and it was like for side sleepers. So I went and I bought it. And I did not check the reviews because he just sent me the link. It looked legit. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to just buy it. I'm done. So I bought it and I bought 2 silk pillowcases, which are not silk.
Wait, he sent you the link.
He sent me the link.
Okay.
It's Nathan's fault. No, so I didn't check reviews. I literally just bought it because it was like a quick thing. I had to, wasn't getting it. I got a tracking number and everything, never got it. I messaged them. They said, oh, we're going to give you a discount. Here you go. And then I ended up getting it. And then now we want to return it because it's garbage.
No.
They will not get back to me. And now I'm going on like all the reviews and everything. Everybody's having like the same experience. A lot of people didn't get the product. So I'm like, oh my God, I have to be more careful when I'm doing these things. Because it's so easy. You see a video of somebody using it. You're like, oh my God, it looks great. So I'm stuck with 2 pillows and 2 sheet pillowcases that were a lot of money.
And they're not even silk.
No, they're satin.
Time for Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. It was like, damn. But yeah, so it easily happens that you get sold to without even thinking.
Oh my
People
goodness.
are really like they're smart about it.
Yeah.
Like these scammers, not scammers, I want to say, but like businesses who are like, yeah, we know our product's not maybe like it's not above and beyond great.
Yeah.
But we know if we put in the right type of marketing or something, people will buy
It's
it.
the videos of people using it.
Yes.
That's where I'm getting like caught faster because it's not just one person using it. You have all these. It's like this is like a viral thing.
That's
Everybody's
called
using
user
this.
generated content, right? UGC.
Yeah, exactly.
That's blowing up on TikTok too right now. Yeah, I think that's something that brands didn't have in the past that now brands are implementing more.
Yeah.
And because we see real people using it,
They're like, oh,
we
must be good.
want
Or this
to
influencer
also
has it.
yeah.
But they're getting these products for free and they're getting paid. Like they're not going to be talking crap about this.
Exactly.
Totally.
Yeah.
exactly.
So like it's buyer beware. You need to definitely look at reviews, which I don't do.
Go on.
Never do
Oh,
I
I'm a
always
big
go on
review
like,
person.
Yeah, me too. I go on like Reddit. And,
Yeah.
But then sometimes I get
Yeah.
suspicious. I'm like, does someone work for this company? Like then I'm
like
suspicious of
overly
everything.
conscious.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I've done that. So that's why I'm like, who else is doing it? Like, so really look at Reddit's a good place for that though.
Reddit is a good place for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Yikes. I'm sorry about the pillows.
I'm dealing with it right now, so I'm like probably not going to get my money back, but that's okay.
Oh well.
What advice do you have for busy individuals who want to participate in marketing but feel like they don't have time?
Okay. That's a really good question because it's one I get a lot.
Yes.
I mean, I have I have a couple answers. I'll start with like, I would say the free options.
Okay.
I know I just talked to her about ChatGPT, but I will say it is a very good resource to have if you know what you're using it for. Like I use it more for research purposes as almost like a Google. Yeah. So like, let's say I'm like, oh, I'm writing or I'm doing a post about this certain topic, but I'm not really familiar with it. Or I look at an article and I'm like, I don't really understand. Like it's maybe too technical for me. I'll ask ChatGPT, can you write that? Or give me the bullet point or the simple form of this. So something like that is really great. And sometimes, and if I need it for like a type of writing, I'll just ask like, does this grammatically make sense? And then it'll say yes or no. So like something like that is it's a really great resource, but I would avoid being like, write me a caption about this, right?
Oh my God, that's what I do.
Yeah, like I don't blame you though, but everyone's starting to do that. One thing I would say,
It's how you prompt it though too.
I'm not a good prompter.
no,
No, I know. I was yelling at you the other day. Like, you didn't prompt it.
don't prompt me. No, what I would suggest doing instead,
Okay.
but again, I know you're a busy individual, but I will say if you get in a habit of doing that, it's actually very helpful because it helps with your tone of voice as well. Finding that and sounding more human is say out loud what you want to say, and you can record yourself, you can write it down. And then if you need ChatGPT, just ask it, can you clean this up for me a little bit?
Oh,
And then,
smart.
yeah.
'Cause then it gets your tone and stuff.
Exactly.
And
it's
that's
just
very smart.
Yeah. So I mean, I do that a lot because I I'm scrambling in my brain all the time. So it's just like, I just need someone or something to tell me like, this is actually what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So, and then read it again and try to make it sound more human. Don't use the double emojis because we all know.
I don't like using
That's
emojis
actually
myself,
so
but-
interesting because you're so right. Every time I get ChatGPT to write me a caption, they overuse emojis so much.
The rocket.
And I'm like, yeah, the rocket.
The rocket.
Or like just like any, and I'm just like, this is so chewy. Like I don't want this. Like so many emojis in my captions. It's like ridiculous.
So I took a marketing course like long time ago, and they always said they could add the emoji, and I'm like, it's not me. It's not me. It's like for sale with the little house. And I'm like, this is not my vibe. I
No,
don't
if you
want
don't want to use
that.
it, don't use it. It's not your branding. Don't
No.
use it. You can use other stuff. Like there's other ways to catch people's attention other than
Yeah.
emojis. Like we
It's
see emojis
true.
everywhere anyway. So
yeah, emojis are being overused right now.
exactly. So, but I would say like, and then kind of for the busy individuals, like if you want to spend a little bit more money, Canva Pro is a great resource.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Everyone
love
knows.
Canva Pro.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And it's very cheap. Like I would say compared to like an Adobe, and it's a lot easier
100%.
to use.
And it gives you like templates, which is so
Yeah.
helpful.
I would say, yeah, templates are great, but don't just use the templates. Like again, trying to make it a little bit more unique. They're a good starting point. They're good to like go through to find inspiration, but yeah, try to
Because I've seen, especially like, I don't know, I know certain, I'm not going to just say real estate, but certain brands, I can tell that if it's been used in that, and then like another team may have like a very similar one. I'm like,
Yes.
y'all just did that. Yeah.
exactly. You
so
literally took a
true.
Canva template, slapped your name on it.
There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just like people can use it, which I want to be a little bit different.
Different.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like I said, like I guess the more time goes on of us using this, it's not just marketing people we're going to notice. It's like just someone who's on Instagram is like, I've seen this post like 100 times. Like
Yeah.
they're going to know too.
On Etsy, you can buy templates,
Yes.
which I suggest doing. I've done that before.
It's great.
Oh.
Yeah, I've done it too.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really great. Yeah. So I like
God, I'm learning so much today.
This is an odd question. Do you suggest writing your captions on social media to a certain grade level? So like everybody can
understand.
consume? Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it depends on the audience. You're like, I would say definitely do some research. If you're going to invest, like, let's say a whole lot of money into your marketing or get really deep into it, I would suggest investing in some type of audience research.
Okay.
And then and there's businesses that do it and they do really well with it as well. And they'll just tell you like who your audience is, even where they're
love
working, the age, the gender.
Research, I love that.
Yeah,
I've
it's
always
really-
wanted to like work for a company that did that. I
It's
love
really,
that.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
nosy, so I also love it.
Yeah, I want to know all the sorry.
Yeah. No, people make a lot of money off that. And a lot of big name businesses do it as well.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a psychological thing too, right? Because you really get deep into who like your ideal person that you're marketing towards and like what they would be actually looking for while going on social media or looking at
Yeah.
traditional
That's actually
marketing.
a really good thing to spend money on. Like, I think I
Yes.
would spend a decent amount of money on that because
Yeah.
it will probably answer a majority of the questions that you're.
Exactly.
Because you can think, okay, this is my ideal client in your head, but for you, that's your ideal client. But you're actually tracking people that are completely different that are drawn to
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you might be thinking, oh no, I talk to first time home buyers all the time. It's but actually your marketing is geared towards people who are looking for their second home.
Yeah.
Or people who've been in the market for a very long time or
Yeah.
something like that. So it is a really good investment to have. But it's like,
I'm just like so intrigued right now. I'm like,
Gina might kill me with that face.
No, everything I'm doing has just been wrong.
You just tell you like, oh my God, this is such good info. Sorry.
No, literally.
Yeah, like
Everything I've been doing has been wrong. Well, because I've been talking for years. I'm like, I want to pivot my brand. Like, I want to, change up the type of demographics of the clients I'm getting. I got to do it.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I know. I struggle with it too, my own business as well. But yeah, it is. I mean, again, if you have the budget for it, I would say it's a really good investment because down the road, when you're doing those paid ads and campaigns and spending money on traditional marketing, you actually know who you're talking to. You're not just kind of throwing money in the air and hoping for the best.
So
Yeah.
true. Okay.
Yeah.
I think doing everything with intention is important.
Exactly.
If someone wants to rebrand, Because we talk about it all the time.
All the time.
I think about it all the
want to do a rebrand. Like, what does that entail, and what should somebody think of when they're contemplating that?
So
Kaitlyn's like, I've been trying to rebrand for years.
literally, well, I did a rebranding a couple years ago, and I love my branding. But every couple of years, I always think like, what can I do to like one up it a little bit? And I think that's a lot of businesses. Like I've worked with a lot of businesses that think that as well.
So should you rebrand every couple of years, or what do you think?
I would say do a full rebrand, but just kind of think like, hey, what are people getting tired of? Or what's something in our branding that people see constantly other than our logo that maybe we can switch out? Like maybe there's a certain color we can include, or maybe even a type of imagery that we can include instead. Just something a little different. That way people are still familiar with your brand, but something new that they can look forward to. But I would say, if your branding is doing really well, if you've invested a lot of money into it, like I would say like over $100,000 I've seen before, keep it for as long as you can. But again, think about, okay, what can I do to, make it a little bit more new? But in terms of rebranding, I would say take a little bit of time to really think about it. Because I've worked at businesses that have, rebranded over an entire year, ended up doing really well because they really thought about what they were doing. They thought about what their audience would look for, what would be, I guess, ideal for the branding they already had. So that way it's not a total jump and their audience can kind of already familiarize themselves with that. And even do some psychological work, like what colors are people going to think of when they think of your brand, right? Like I know blue is very calming, red could be a little more chaotic. But so kind of think about, okay, like, just do a ton of research. I would say if you're doing a rebrand, definitely hire like an agency.
100%, totally.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I'm not taking that on.
I would never do that.
Yeah, it's like it is a big investment. That's like I think invest in that if your like business is growing exponentially and you do know you need to like rebrand a little. Like,
so what is the purpose of rebranding? Like how does somebody know that, okay, I should rebrand now?
Ooh, that's a good question. Like I've personally, when I was rebranding my business, I just knew myself, like, my colors don't really match. It's not a really great palette. I don't like, my fonts were like Canva fonts. But, I'd always suggest if you're doing branding, invest in, a good color palette and actual fonts that are unique to you. Yeah. Like I've always seen like businesses use, Canva fonts, free fonts. And I've seen actually designers kind of make fun of them because they're like, really, you spend all this money on a branding, but you're going to use a free font that anybody could use. Exactly. And even like logos, I've seen people just be like, well, why can't I just make one on Canva? They're all right there, like a template. And I'm like, well, what's stopping another business from using that logo? And then right? And then people get confused and they don't think of the logo with you, they might think of another business. So the whole purpose of branding is to get people familiar with your business or your branding. So that way, when you're walking down the street and they see a billboard, they know exactly, but looking at the colors, who you are. So
and like evoke an emotion too when they
exactly. Yes, exactly. So
there's a lot to think about.
No, there is. There's so much to think about.
Branding is like, it's one thing I've really wanted to incorporate in my own business, and my designer and I are kind of trying to figure out ways to do so, just with smaller businesses, because it's
super helpful.
It's a lot of work, yeah.
Yeah, it is, especially on the agency side. You can go through like a million revisions, and not just with the color palette, like, and then going into the logo, it's like, it's a whole thing. So, but it is a good investment, especially if you're starting out and you're really serious about your business and you want people to recognize who you are. So
what's your favorite part about your job? Like within all the marketing things you do, what do you love to do?
That's a good question. I love seeing good results.
I know you posted something the other day that your TikTok's got like 2 million views or something.
So one of my clients, who is a podcaster in the United States, they got 1 million views on their TikTok. And it's always the videos that you're like, I'm sure also be okay.
Yeah.
And like, it ends up doing so well.
Yeah. So no, it's all kudos to them. They're amazing. So one of my favorite aspects is actually editing videos, which if you told me that like 5 years ago, I'd be like, I don't know how to edit a video. Like, no, I'm not. I'm like, it just takes up too much time. But after a while, you do get more creative with it and you get faster at it. So I do that for a lot of clients as well. And I have a videographer as well who does really amazing work. So I lean on her. But yeah, so that's right now my favorite part of it.
Okay.
But tomorrow it could be, but I also love doing graphic design. And then the next it could be like, but I really love writing blog posts and newsletters and stuff like that. So I love all of it. That's kind of why I started an agency, because like I'd hate doing one thing. I want to do everything.
You want to do everything, yeah. And you are so creative with it. I remember when we used to work together, that one post you made for me where you took a magazine, but then you put my magazine insert in it, and that went viral. So many people actually DM'd me and were like, who is your marketing person?
Oh, I love that.
Like, I want to know who did this. Like, it was such a cool post.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
So you're very creative and you're really good at it.
Yeah, something like that. It was like, it's just a simple, but if it's like aesthetically pleasing, people will take notice.
People will take notice, and it was like something very different. So it was really cool.
And that's the one thing I always tell people too, especially with video creation and edit, it doesn't need to be a huge production. Like if you go on your TikTok feed, what you're seeing usually that's viral are people taking videos in their cars. They're just talking to the camera. They're like, the editing's like, is there editing?
Is there
sometimes
editing
not.
Is there like just random cuts?
Yeah, exactly. Like not even like sometimes, but the content is either so funny or it's so personable,
engaging.
It causes a discussion, right? So like you don't need to invest so much into your content. Just again, think about what are people actually watching and what do they want to see from me, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Do you help clients figure that out? Like if they were somebody to come to you, like I have no idea where to start. Do you help them kind of discover what the public want to see from that person?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I kind of start like, let's say with a new client, just asking them like about their business and kind of getting more familiar with even the industry that they're in. And then asking about, who they kind of serve, I guess, or who they want to appeal to in terms of social media. And then we just kind of go from there. So I do actually a little bit of audience research on their part, probably not as much as another agency who focuses on that would do, but just like the basics, just to kind of get a better idea. And then from there, we do a lot of testing actually. So I'll test like the most active times for them to be posting, let's say on Instagram and Facebook. A lot of times it's actually a little later at night. So I actually schedule it to go at night. But again, it depends on the industry and the audience. And then even the type of content. So I'll play around with the video content, graphics, photos. And then from there, we talk about, what are the type of topics your audience is looking for. So it is, especially the first few months, it is a lot of, testing it out, seeing what's working. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it works really well. And then as we keep going, looking at that engagement rate, the likes, shares, comments, saves, and kind of seeing, okay, what can we do with this and how can we push it even further? So it's a lot of psychological work, kind of being like, why are they doing this? Why are they engaging with this post over this one? And then we just kind of go from there. So there's no, I guess, rule to it either, which is kind of the beauty of marketing. It's like you can try to do whatever you want and people might like it and people might not. So,
So that being said, what are the most common mistakes you see people making when it comes to marketing? Yeah, I've always been interested in this because I make a lot of mistakes. So
no, well, I mean, that's like, I don't know. Like sometimes I feel like when you make a mistake, let's say on social media, most people don't notice.
Fair enough.
Like you'll notice, but you don't.
We'll see it.
Fair
but
enough.
then other people are like, oh, it looks good. But
Yeah. Like there was a TikTok I posted for a client of mine. It actually got I think around 30,000 views, but on the thumbnail I misspelled something. But no one cared because people were watching the video anyways. But I was like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. How could I? Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, but I would say like in terms of mistakes, like I would say like the ChatGPT, like the captions, I would say it's not like, I would say it's a mistake because everything's spelled correctly or whatever. It's just like, but thinking about, okay, but what can I do to make it more human? Like something like that. And just keeping, I think, the content a little too general or generic and not really having a good call to action or a focus on it. One thing I even struggle with is like, okay, what's my focus? Or there's too many focuses in a video. So people are going to swipe because they're like, well, what is she talking about? Like, I thought we were talking about this, but now we're talking about this.
Yeah.
So having a focus, I think, in one video is,
enough.
Enough. Yeah.
And also I think like keeping it short too, right?
Yeah.
Because my attention span is like bust. Like I can literally not pay attention to something for more than like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So I like the videos that are like short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah.
Unless they're like extremely engaging or unless someone's like doing like a story time or something, like I won't listen to like 10
I was gonna say some
video.
videos are actually doing really well with like 2 minutes. But again, you have to be engaging. You gotta I think you gotta start with like a catchy one-liner or just something, catch their attention for the next 2 or 3 minutes, right? Rather than something kind of getting into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story time. I love those TikToks too.
I love story
What's
time.
story time?
Story time
I'm not
is
on
like,
TikTok.
You should be on TikTok.
No. I always tell people like,
Natalie.
it'll take over your life.
No, it'll take over your life. I do actually think it's absolutely destroyed my attention span, and I do need to get off of it. But I feel
So
like
why am I
is
going on
Elsa on it? Elsa's,
No.
no, but Elsa's like, isn't she very like, let's do my hair today, or like, remember you
No,
were
so
telling
for
me?
the hair, I follow one account on Instagram, and then I let her look, and we figure out hairstyles together based on
Okay.
that one account.
And then she
so she's not like endlessly scrolling, but sometimes like they'll be with us when we're looking at reels and like, oh, stop on this or whatever. But I'm not like, they're not sitting there doing it.
No, well, they're too young for that also. So
Yeah, I
that
would
makes
say
sense.
so.
But
Yeah.
But okay,
not
so
like-
how does somebody make a video that gets 30,000 views? And is that like only for TikTok, or can we get more engagement on Instagram?
Yeah,
I
I would
we
say
need to know.
Yeah,
We need to know.
I would say for Instagram Reels, like I would say keep that short. Like when I'm looking for inspiration on Instagram, I feel like every video is 3 to 5 seconds. Like it's so quick, and it might be based on the algorithm I have set for my clients, or like what they're looking at. Facebook or Instagram will show you the reels that you might be interested in. But I would say like TikTok, like you don't even have to be that. I actually don't think they even push out videos that quick anymore. I think they want you to stay on.
TikTok actually has like now their limit is 10 minutes. So you can make videos up to 10 minutes long now on TikTok.
Exactly.
Because there's so many story times.
Yeah. Like I don't see a
what's
lot of
story
10-minute
time?
videos.
Sorry,
Story time.
Oh yeah.
Story times are like when people are literally just on camera, just talking to you for like 10 minutes straight, just telling you a story.
Yeah,
about
and they'll be like
something.
story time.
be
Here's
like,
how
story time.
I did this.
You know, when you
okay.
do like story time with your children with a book, it's just like story time about like my life telling you something.
Yeah.
But like now it's like gotten to the point where people have like 17-part stories.
Yeah. What was that girl that
Who like broke up with, or no, who
her
had like, a
husband.
crazy
Yeah.
husband, and
But
she's
it was like 50
But it was like
parts.
50 parts, and she's like, "Who have I been married to for like the past 10
Yeah,
years?" And
I
it
don't
was,
know
like,
who I
this-
married.
I don't know who I married, and it was like
Yeah.
this crazy story. But there was like 50 parts, and like each was like 10 minutes, and like people watched them.
Yo,
and then they're
and
making
listen,
money
she's
off
getting
of
a
it.
show off of it.
Oh yeah,
Like people
It's-
are making a television show. It went
You would
viral.
love TikTok. It's so up
Don't
your
go
alley.
on.
People send me
is
TikToks
so
and
up
I
your
watch
alley.
it, but it's not like a platform that I'm constantly going to.
No,
It
fair
is like,
enough.
to be fair, if you want to, because I watch probably an hour before bed, and I could be reading a book. I could be
doing
learning
things that are educational.
something.
No,
Yeah.
but to be fair, there's a dark side of TikTok, but there's also a really good side of TikTok where like I've learned so many hacks off of TikTok
That's true.
that I wouldn't have known otherwise, or just like cleaning things, or just like whatever.
yeah.
There's a lot of educational things on TikTok as well, but yeah, it's basically brain rot.
It is. You can set, I think, a timer to be like, oh, tell your phone like it's done. You're done.
I've done that,
But
yeah.
I think you
but
could
then
just
I
swipe it
override
up. Yeah.
it. I'm like,
Me
like 10
too.
more minutes.
Yeah, no, I'm not
that's
tired
so
yet.
bad.
Yeah. But yeah. So what were we talking about?
What do you how do you feel
engaged,
about
yeah.
captions on videos? Like people who like say like have this as a
Subtitles.
real subtitles.
Yeah. No, definitely use them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I would
is
say
it better
They
for
kind of
SEO?
went away for a little bit. Did you notice that?
on Instagram?
I don't.
We used to have them on our videos, and now we don't have them anymore.
But like in general, I don't really see them as often.
Really?
Yeah, I see them
Take
more.
more
I
note
see
of
them on
it.
Instagram. I see them on TikTok. I don't see them on Instagram.
Yeah, I gotta take note. I don't
Interesting.
like. I used to see them all the time, and now not so much.
I will say, so when I'm editing videos, I use like apps, I use subscriptions to create them, and I use those for subtitles because Instagram subtitles can be kind of annoying to edit.
Fair
At
enough.
least from my point of view. I know Instagram. So the thing with Instagram is they want you to use their features so badly, right? Like when they say like we're putting out this new feature, like those notes on stories. I would highly recommend using them because that way they want you to use them, and then they
that's
see
smart.
that and they push out your content more. Yeah. So even like just a couple of times.
See, I don't like realize.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
so-
then sometimes like people don't know, right? Like I was
Yeah.
asked the other day, like, how do you know? And I'm like, well, because I'm on Instagram 24/7,
Yeah,
and
well,
I get
that's
out
my
these
job.
updates. Yeah, but like not everyone's gonna figure it out, and
Yeah.
sometimes I miss them too. So
I'm the one that misses everything.
yeah,
Like, I'm
Okay,
like,
so how are
oh,
you going to market this video? Watch, this one's going to get like 10 million views.
No, no, on mine. I will say because listen, let's just be a lesson because I'm never posting reels. Like I posted one reel last month. It did all right, but like I never post videos, and because of that, like I barely get any views. So please, if you're trying to post videos, post as many not as many as you can. Like make sure the quality is good.
Yeah.
But try to post consistently, like maybe a schedule, and then after that, Instagram will push it out a little bit more.
What's an average schedule that you give your clients to post?
Yeah, so again, it depends on their goals, depends on their budget, everything like that. I would suggest if you're starting out, posting at least 2 videos per week if you can.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't need to be a production. Remember, it doesn't need to be like a huge thing. It could literally, like I've seen some videos do well of just, again, someone talking to their audience on video about, oh, I just came back from this workshop and it was really great. Here's what I learned. And like they barely had any editing, maybe some subtitles, but that's it. And that post can do really well. So I would say that, but I would also suggest adding stories almost every day. If
I was going to
can.
ask, is stories important?
Very. Yeah. I would
Really?
Yeah.
I
Instagram wants to see it. Like they want to see your stories.
Kind of clients do you like to take on? Would you accept? Where can people find you?
Yeah, definitely. So the type of clients, I try not to have too much of a niche, which was actually the advice I was given so much in my career, like getting into this. It's like, have a niche, have a certain client, but like again, my brain is always so scrambling, and I love learning. About different industries.
I agree with you because it's like even with us, it's like, what's your niche? I'm like everybody.
Yeah.
I like everybody. I like every stage that people go through, and I don't want to just focus on one. So I get it.
I like if I talk to someone and they're in an industry I'm not too familiar with, but they're a good person. And I can tell like we vibe really well, and I think our goals will align business wise. Then I'm like, yeah, why not work with you, right? Just because like, but I know a lot of like agencies that refuse to work with certain type of people, and I'm like, why would you I'm like, give them to me, like I'm fine with that. Like I'm fine talking to them, but you know, I try not to set rules for myself like that. But I will say I guess the clients I do tend to have the most success with are people who do services over products.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, I do business with people who, you know, offer products, but I don't know, for some reason services always tend to do very well.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with, and they're fine with it too.
So AI is not going to take over our jobs?
Well, I don't I don't know. I'm kind of like, but no, like, I don't know.
I don't think so.
No, I don't.
Call me naive, but I don't think so.
It goes back to, I think people want to do business with people.
They do.
I think
100%.
at the end of the day, whatever, that's my takeaway.
No, I
100%.
100% agree. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Even like I was talking to someone the other day who was talking about this workshop they were doing, and I think it was a really expensive workshop, but they had to do, it was about social media, but they had to do so much work for this workshop. And I'm like, wait, so you're paying all this money, but you're doing the work. Like, so that's kind of think of like even AI, like with ChatGPT and like other, you know, websites that offer AI. It's like they're, I guess, giving you something, but at the end of the day, you have to make it sound more human. You have to tell it what to do, and like, you know what I mean? And then like, so I would say it's not going to take over our jobs, like maybe, but some people might think so. I don't know. But you would hope you would get clients that want that, I guess, human
I think
side.
people will always want the human touch. Like you said,
100%.
like I just can't see it. Like, especially coming out of the pandemic where everybody was so isolated.
Yeah.
And now I see everybody craving that community again.
Exactly.
I just can't see people just wanting to do business with robots.
No.
Maybe for a small amount of time, but then I think people will go back to.
They'll like, I even think of like websites that are like, oh, you don't need a realtor, you can just use this website.
We were literally talking about that.
I'm like, okay, I'm not selling my house that has so much equity in it and like, you know,
memories and, you know, attachment with a website. Yeah.
Exactly. Just on paid commission.
But this
like,
also goes like to the influencers being so big, is that it's an actual person selling you something.
exactly.
So I think that's,
and we get actual real experience, and like anything I buy, I watch so many people's like reviews on it.
So did I.
You gotta start doing it. It's life changing. It's literally life changing. But yeah, no, it's great. Okay, so you'll basically accept anyone you vibe with, no specific industry.
Yeah,
good to know.
That is basically it. Sounds like I'll just take anybody, but no, like,
anyone you vibe with. Well, that's important, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's definitely times where I've talked to someone and like, you know, they have a great business model and everything, but I'm like, but I just don't think we're gonna align very well. Yeah, and like maybe, and like I've referred people to other agencies. Like, I try not to be like, oh, they're my competitor. Blah, blah, blah. Like, if I know, just and like I try to, and they can help me too, and everything like that. So don't be too competitive.
No,
and all of our industries is very competitive.
It does help. It does help. Yeah.
So it's very helpful.
Where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram, Socialize Co. You can also check out my website, socializeandco.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. And I should be on Facebook, but I'm not. I really should though. I preach Facebook and then I'm not even on
Facebook
it,
marketing stresses me out. I know you like it.
Yeah. It took a lot of time for me to like to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like still, like I was saying, like it changes constantly.
100%. Yeah. Even me, I'm like, what? Like
Where's
really
that
different the
button
next
again?
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's okay. You learn. Yeah.
I thought this was really helpful. I hope you guys all thought it was helpful too. And yeah, thanks for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Kaitlyn. See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.